Hi, my name is Beth, and I am a homeschooling mom of four daughters. And we've only ever done homeschooling. And I just wanted to share um, what I do at home with my girls, the structure I have to my day, because there are a lot of schools that are closing right now. And moms and dads and caretakers and caregivers they could possibly be feeling a little overwhelmed with what to do with their kids for 2 weeks when you're stuck at home, 2 or 3 weeks, however long this lasts. And yes, you definitely take care of your kids in the summer, but oftentimes there's play dates and there's swim lessons and things. What to do when you are really, really at home. And as a homeschooling mom, I feel like I've been preparing for this for a long time. So this isn't the only way of doing things, but if I can offer suggestions and it's helpful to anybody, then I just hope that this blesses you. So the first thing I do is I plan. I'm a big planner, and I like to have a plan for the week to have a basic idea of fun things to do throughout the week. The other part of planning is I like to plan the night before. I like to think of what I'm going to be doing with the kids the night before. Can they have an orange? Yes, you may have an orange. Banana. No, just an orange. You already had a banana today. Thanks. Um, I like to think about what I'm going to do. If there's any materials or craft that we're going to do, I like to have the materials the day before. I am also a big fan of meal prepping the day before, so I make their lunches, and so that way I'm not chaotically making food. Noelle, close the door, please. Sorry, uh, children are at home. Um, so making their lunches the day before, that way you don't have to interrupt your day to stop and make lunches for everybody. So planning the night before for the next day. The second thing I find that is very, very important is having structure and routine. Not a schedule necessarily, but structure and routine. Kids thrive off of that. And really, as adults, we do too. We like having consistency, knowing what's coming next. And especially if kids are feeling very anxious about all the changes going on, having a routine is going to be very, very important. So I'd like to share with you my structure, my routine for the day. Again, I have four daughters, ages 7 to 2, almost 3. Um, this is adaptable for different ages, but of course, you pick what works best for your family. So in the morning, when we get up and we have breakfast together, then we have time where we do chores. And the girls have to practice their instruments, play the piano, and one of them plays the violin as well. And everybody has a chore. So you have 2 weeks at home and your kids don't normally do chores. This is a great time to teach them a new chore. My 7-year-old can wash dishes. The 6-year-old collects the trash and wipes down the bathroom sink. The 4-year-old wipes down the stairs. The 2-year-old takes the recycling from the kitchen into the recycling bin. You could also incorporate washing off all the doorknobs, dusting the house. I mean, there's so many chores that the whole family can be involved in and everybody works together, especially if you aren't used to being home all this time. The house is going to get messier and going to be more cluttered, and everybody should be pitching in, not just mom. So work together as a family, learn new chores, get into a routine of doing chores. I like my kids to stick with the same chore for several weeks, several months at a time, because they learn to do it better that way. But if you have older kids, rotate your chores, maybe by day, maybe by week. And then we also practice. This is a great time, speaking as a piano teacher, for students to be practicing their instruments. Have a dedicated practice time. And if your kids are normally in school, they can now have time to practice in the morning when they're a little bit fresher. And you might find that they enjoy their practice time a little more having it in the morning. So after we do our chores and we do our uh, piano practicing, we have a goal to get to the table by a certain time. For us, it's 8:30. It can be different for different families. It can be 10 o'clock, whenever. But we have a goal to get to the table to work together on our schoolwork. Maybe your schools have sent home schoolwork and you can just follow along with that. There are so many resources out there, and I'm going to include some links down below of some worksheet packets that I have. I have them for preschool, kindergartners, I have elementary school activities, I have family activities, math, supplemental math, even if it's just drilling and reviewing, adding numbers or rounding up to the next dollar or adding time. Um, Telling the different shapes, sorting things by color, lots of different activities you can do based on the ages of your kids. So prepare ahead of time over the weekend. Print out all the things and put the printables that you want for each child in their own binder. Then you get out that binder and just do one worksheet or two worksheets. Maybe you do a reading and a math, and then that could be it. Um, Read aloud. Highly recommend read alouds. So there's a great book called The Read Aloud Family. I don't know if you can see this if it's backwards or not. It's by Sarah Mackenzie. It offers lots of wonderful tips and suggestions on how to read with your kids, how you can read with a wide age span. It's not just the little ones that can sit in your lap. Teenagers enjoy being read aloud to. It also has ideas and activities for after you read the book, questions you can ask, conversations you can have, fun activities that you can do related to the book. And reading is just a great way to travel when you can't actually travel. So I highly recommend reading aloud together as a family. There are also lots of videos out there. YouTube is going to be a great resource. There will be future videos from me where I read aloud stories that we have in our house. I read them aloud, and other families can just listen. So if the mom or dad or caregiver, is getting tired of reading, your voice needs a break. I totally understand. Turn on a video of somebody else reading aloud a book to your kid. And then maybe that becomes an activity you do. You record yourself reading and send that out to, and put that on YouTube. Just open a YouTube account, put that out on YouTube, and other families can benefit from you reading with your family or have your kids read aloud and record it. And we could just create a huge, massive library of read aloud books on YouTube. And so I don't have to go buy new books. I don't have to go to the library. I can get new books by listening to the books that you are reading in your house that I might not have. Great way of building community as well. So yes, videos, all of that stuff. After school, however long you want that to be, we usually do snack, and I like to call it snack and snuggle. Usually during school, we are reviewing during that time. We do a memory work program and we memorize a lot during our snack time, but that would also be a great time to do a read aloud. Have a snack, snuggle on the couch together. Your kids are going to need extra reassurance, and having that physical closeness, just getting the extra snuggle time, is probably going to help calm and reassure your children as well. And it's just an enjoyable time as a family. So have a snack, snuggle together. You could memorize a poem. If you have a religion, you can memorize catechism questions. We love doing catechism questions, and it is amazing what these young guys can memorize. I mean, oh my goodness, their brains are little sponges, and they just recall everything. And that can be really fun. Do it with funny voices. It's just a lot of fun. Then after snack and snuggle time or review time, we usually do activities. So Pinterest. I love Pinterest. You can get sucked down the rabbit hole of Pinterest. But if you plan ahead of time, maybe this weekend you're looking ahead, look up some crafts that you can do with the materials you have in your home, and see if you can make it related to something your kids are interested in or learning about in school, and do the crafts with your kiddos. I'm also big into sensory bins. Love sensory bins. So dried rice, dried beans, water beads are really fun. You can even just get rocks from your backyard, put them in there, add little toys in there. And sensory bins are great and helps reassure them. Please close the door. Come back up and close the door. Sorry. All right, so sensory bins. You could also do games. Games would be a really fun time. Uno, Don't break the ice, whatever board games you have. And if you don't have a lot of games, there are lots of games that you can play just with a piece of paper. One of my favorites is the dot game. Excuse me. Make rows and columns, equal rows and columns of dots, and then kids have to draw a line. And you take turns drawing lines, and whoever completes a box gets to put their initial in it and gets to go again. And the goal is to try and have your initials in the most boxes. Really fun game. You can make it as short and as long as you want. Kids of almost any age can do it, from probably 4 or 5 and up. Tic-tac-toe. You can even make Battleship to be done on paper. So, yeah, if you don't have those games, write them down. That's a great way of doing it. By this point, your kids are probably getting antsy, and as long as there's no self directives from the government or whatnot about staying in your home, you can still go into your backyard. Send them on a scavenger hunt to find a leaf, a rock, a stem of grass. Just let them play. If you have a swing set, that's great. Let them just run around and be kids. If you can't go outside, there's activities you can do in the home. Find an exercise video, put on music and dance. Do a scavenger hunt around your own home. So you could do it with Easter eggs, put little treats inside. That'd be a fun way to break up boredom. You don't have Easter eggs? Find little toys. So my kids have all these little character pieces, and they don't normally get hidden all around the house. So you hide them. It's going to seem different and fun and a unique experience. Another fun way of doing a scavenger hunt is a spelling word hunt. So your kids have spelling words, write them on Post-it notes and hide them around the house. When they go find it, they have to stand there and they have to spell it 3 times so they can look at it, spelling it, C-A-T, C-A-T. And they have to turn around and put their back to it, C-A-T, cat. Great way of getting to run around the house, and it's schoolwork, and it's a game. A lot of fun. Shout out to my friend Joy for that idea. So those are all exercises that we can do. And this point, for us, it's usually lunchtime. So we have lunch, and then they usually play for a little while. They settle into an activity they want to do. And then in the afternoon, we do quiet time. That might take some training. It's going to look different for different ages of kids as well. But everybody's in their own spot, because when you're together for every day, you need some alone time. Kids need that too. So everybody gets their own spot in the house. The baby, she sleeps up in her room. One kid is in mommy's room. One kid is in the second guest bedroom. One kid is in the basement. There are special toys and bins that we have that they can only play with during those times. You can also send up library books or extra books and have those in there. If your kids are old enough and they're trustworthy that they're not going to color all over your bedspread, send them up with paper and crayons and markers. We also rotate those spots every day. So one day Nora will be in the bedroom, the next day she'll be in the guest room, and then the next day she'll be in the basement, and then we rotate around all 3 of those, and we just keep rotating so they don't get bored in that room. And if they really like one room, great, you get it for this day, and then you get to come back to it again in 3 days. Another idea you can do within quiet time is mom could spend 1 day a week. So I have 4 girls. One of them's napping, so really it's only 3 that are doing quiet time. And so Monday I could spend an hour with Nora, and then the rest of quiet time I go down and I have some quiet time. And then Tuesday an hour with Charlotte, and then Wednesday an hour with Noelle. So they're getting extra special alone time with mommy or daddy. And that can be also very reassuring during this time of chaos. So I highly recommend doing that. But if you are done by whatever time you start quiet time, for us it's 1:30. If you are done by that, which I totally understand, I am usually done by that time too, then they can just play by themselves. Kids can play by themselves. They can sit there for 2 hours. If they can sit and watch a movie without getting antsy and leaving, they can do quiet time. And if they complain that they're bored, I always say, it's not bored, you're boring, because you aren't using your mind. They can think deep thoughts. They can use their imagination. They have paper they can write. If they have books, they can travel to these places. Kids can do quiet time. It might take some time to train them how to do it, but kids can be expected to stay in their room for whatever amount of time. You might not be able to do 2 hours. I do 3 hours. My kids have been doing this since they were born. But maybe you just start with half an hour or 45 minutes. But I promise you, I absolutely guarantee most kids, even most special needs kids can stay in their room for 45 minutes. My basic guideline, if they can watch a movie or watch a TV show, they can do quiet time. So those are my recommendations. Then after quiet time, they usually get up, they have screen time because that's usually when I'm preparing dinner. And that hour before dinner is usually the most insane hour, and everybody's crazy and everybody's tired of each other. So go ahead, go watch a video, a TV show. I pick which day of the week is which show. Growing up, if I wanted to watch Full House, I had to wait till Tuesday night to get to watch Full House. So my girls don't get to pick whatever they want to watch every day. Mondays, they get to watch Octonauts. And if they miss watching it on Monday, they have to wait until next Monday to watch it. It cuts down on a lot of fights. It cuts down a lot of decision fatigue that moms and dads face when taking care of children because you make a million decisions every day. Have it set up, have it routine. They may complain, they may bulk against it a little bit, but for the most part, they appreciate that the routine is there and they adapt to it. Then we have dinner, and then we have playtime. Usually at that time, daddy is home, playtime, and then bed. And that is how we run our day. Um, it's I hope that this was helpful. I'm going to include links below. If you ever have any questions and want to contact me, please leave a comment. I absolutely would love to talk with anybody and give ideas, give encouragements for how to really enjoy and get the most out of the time that we have with our children. So, not that there isn't anything to fear, and I'm not treating anything cavalierly or flippantly. This absolutely is a time to be cautious and to love our neighbors well, but we can redeem this time. We can look for the silver lining. We can grow in good quality time with our children. And I'm not saying that you're not going to get frustrated. It's not going to be hard. It absolutely will be. But reach out if it is. Um, Please feel free to reach out for encouragement, but I really hope this helped. And I would love to see any of your read aloud videos because I would love to play them for my kids. I'm sure that they would love that. So I hope this was helpful to you. And again, please reach out and enjoy this time with your family.